This week in game news, Nintendo suffered a security breach, the Final Fantasy VII Remake has sold over 3.5 million copies, Lonely Mountains Downhill is coming to the Nintendo Switch on May 7th, Burnout Paradise Remastered is coming to the Switch on June 19th, EVO 2020 has been cancelled, and Microsoft has announced an Xbox Series X game showcase on May 7th for a first glimpse at games on their upcoming console. This is 1RBC Gaming Weekly. First off, some bad Nintendo news. Over 160,000 online accounts have been compromised, according to a press release from Nintendo. These are accounts that used the NNID, or Nintendo Network ID system that was used for logging into the online services for the DS, 3DS, Wii, and Wii U. This is different from the new system that they're using for the Switch. That said, if you own a Switch but previously created an account with the NNID, check it right now, and make sure that no fraudulent purchases were made with your money. If you see that somebody purchased Metroid Other M with your account in the last 24 hours, you know that something's wrong. Nintendo has disabled the login for the NNID system and they're resetting NNID passwords. When you set yours back up, make sure that you use 2FA or two-factor authentication for a more secure login. While we're talking about two-factor authentication, the Epic Games Store will periodically require users to enable 2FA when claiming free games. In case you are out of the loop on that one, in a bid to draw users away from Steam, Epic's store has been giving away free games every week. These aren't shovelware. The games have included the Batman Arkham Trilogy, Transistor, Subnautica, and other great games. Epic says that they understand that this is a minor inconvenience for some, but honestly, getting your account hacked would be a much bigger inconvenience. In other bad Nintendo news, Nintendo has announced that they're shutting down the 3DS and Wii U eShop altogether for the Caribbean and much of Latin America, including Chile, Grenada, Jamaica, Uruguay, and several other countries. Why? Nintendo says, "We constantly reevaluate our business and make decisions based on a variety of factors." Basically, they're saying that gamers in these countries were never valued customers. Brazil and Mexico, much bigger markets, aren't being affected by this. If you're in one of these countries, you'd best download any of your eShop purchases before July 31st, 2020. Otherwise, they'll be lost forever. If you're into fighting games, you've probably already heard the news that EVO 2020, the Evolution Championship Series game tournament, has been called off. It was set to take place from July 31st to August 2nd at Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, but due to the pandemic, it's not happening. At least, not in real life. The organizers have announced that it'll be online only. Details are forthcoming. In the last few weeks, developers have been giving away games for free in a clever bit of self-promotion, and also to encourage folks to stay at home. Right now, there are a few notable games available if you're a PlayStation gamer. You have until May 5th to grab Uncharted, the Nathan Drake Collection, and Journey for free for the PS4. Even if you don't own a PS4, make an account and claim them anyway. You'll have a little library waiting for you if you ever do own one. Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 is also available for free until May 10th, on the PS4 as well as on Xbox One and Steam. Just be sure you claim it. I haven't yet played Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 yet, but I have played its predecessor, which is an interesting take on a classic formula, throwing dozens of enemies at you and an ever-evolving maze, but also slowing you down before you're caught, giving you enough time to turn around. The challenge is different from traditional Pac-Man, but it can still be pretty hard when there's a hazard around every corner. Try it if you haven't yet given it a shot. In-game releases this week, Cloudpunk hit Steam, and it's making some waves. Set in a cyberpunk city that draws some aesthetic inspiration from Blade Runner, you play as a delivery driver with the simple task of navigating the city in your flying car and dropping off packages, along the way meeting the city's various inhabitants and unraveling mysteries. So far, it's gotten pretty positive critical and player reception, and it's currently available for Windows. If you're looking for a new card game, Riot's Legends of Runeterra has been released on PC, iOS, and Android. Set in the League of Legends universe, it's a collectible card game that's rather like Hearthstone, albeit with quite a few key differences and some fresh mechanics, such as a turn system in which the player attacking and defending swaps back and forth, rather than running turns concurrently. I've had the chance to try it out, and it's pretty interesting thus far. While I'm not digging it quite as much as Mojang's Scrolls, now Caller's Bane, I appreciate that you needn't sink any real-world money into it if you want to enjoy it. It's free to play done right. Coming soon to PC is Old World. I'm a pretty big fan of Civilization V. This game is currently in development by Mohawk Games and is being led by Soren Johnson, who worked on the Civilization series as well as Off-World Trading Company. It's a turn-based strategy game that, from the looks of things, plays a lot like a Civ game. You can settle down cities, go to war with your neighbors, but unlike Civ, in which you pick a civilization and a leader to reign until the Space Age, in Old World your leader grows old and eventually dies. You have to hand the kingdom off to an heir. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this turns out. It's coming to the Epic Games Store on May 5th. There's a Kickstarter campaign that caught our eye this week for a game called Weaving Tides. It's an incredibly charming adventure that's set in the world of textiles. At first glance, I couldn't help but be reminded of Bastion, which the developers cite as a big influence on the game's environmental design, along with Tearaway and The Legend of Zelda. I'm seriously considering backing their Kickstarter. If you'd like to try it out, you can download a demo right now from the game's Kickstarter page. Weaving Tides is in development for the Nintendo Switch, as well as Mac and Windows. Finally, we leave you with the latest trailer for Metamorphosis, which is coming to PC and consoles this summer and draws inspiration from the surreal works of Franz Kafka. I got to check this one out at PAX East last year, and I'm glad to see that the game's moving forward.
Imagine my surprise when I got information about unauthorized access to the tower. In other words, you little intruder. Who told you about the tower? Who told you to come here? Still pretending you don't know? I have ways to, let's say, refresh your memory. Ha! Perfect. Now, I'll ask you again. Oh no! Oh, no!
That's it for this week's episode. For all the greatest game news, reviews, interviews, and more, be sure to follow at OneRuleBeCool on Twitter and Instagram.
So I'm here at PAX East 2019, and I'm taking a look at a rather interesting game, Metamorphosis. Now, I'm not quite sure which Metamorphosis this is based off of, whether it be Kafka's or Ovid's, but I'm chatting here with the developer of the game. Perhaps you can tell us a bit more. Good sir, what's your name and your role in the game?
Hi, I am Yasha, and I handle marketing and PR at Ovidworks.
Very nice, very nice. So now, what sort of game exactly is Metamorphosis?
Metamorphosis is a puzzle platforming adventure game. So at the heart of it, it's a game where you're trying to get from one place to another place, and there is a story that ties it together and motivates you to keep moving. And then we use the mechanics of a game to make that process fun and engaging by giving you abilities to have an overview so that you can navigate the world, and giving you mechanics to climb and leap and find your way through surreal and abstract landscapes.
Gotcha. So now, what Metamorphosis is this game inspired by? Is this Kafka's?
Yes, this is inspired by the works of Kafka. That includes the Metamorphosis. It's also inspired by the Trial and the Castle. Those are elements in the story. And in general, we wanted to bring the questions of existentialism from 20th century literature and show that they can make fun games.
Wow, that is a wild premise, my man. So now, how long has this game been in development?
We've been developing Metamorphosis for, I'd say, about 3 years.
Gotcha, gotcha. So now, which platforms is this coming to?
This will come to Steam, to PS4, Xbox, and to Nintendo Switch in fall of this year.
Very nice. So let's say for folks at home want to find out more about Metamorphosis, where can they go?
I would say follow us on Twitter, that's @OvidWorks, and do please wishlist us on Steam. That's also a good way to keep in touch.
Excellent. So now I have to ask this of everybody. What is your favorite game of all time? Go.
Fallout 2.
Wow, a swift response. Are you big on RPGs?
I'm big on RPGs, but I'm also big on other types of games. I'm big on my second favorite would be Monkey Island 2 maybe as well. So that's an adventure game.
Yeah, not a bad pick, my man. Well, I'm looking forward to trying out Metamorphosis. Good sir, it has been a pleasure chatting with you. I hope you enjoy your PAX.
Thank you so much.